I used to run
Right.
A1A down, beach back.
Here all the time.
Hey, how you doing?
North County was here. I still know all my distances from here. 'Cause that's where he's going to. Main Street? Yeah. North County was here. The short station was done long as a 5K, because we always do it.
Yeah.
We would take turns, we would run our times down, try to beat each other. And then our other standard, a lot of the Main Street was 5 miles. It dropped off.
You dipped off.
I remember Charlie Anderson always taking his feet on his way barefoot, but have so much tape on. I ran barefoot. I didn't wear shoes until this, like the last few weeks.
I don't think it hurts.
It never bothered me.
Getting used to it, it's not bad.
It never bothered me, because I remember people used to tell me that. Or the big night, you feel.
Well, that's the thing, I say the opposite. Okay.
And I couldn't run because I was tired of looking at the same people. And the other part of the beach was run by me. And I was always running to the south. We used to run to the King, we used to go. And then I just got tired.
That,
Running past the ocean. A lot.
I hear you. I hear you.
So you know exactly how far it is to get the van out.
Yeah, I'll have it till the day I was looking at this too.
Okay.
My 15's been stored.
Hey, Liz. Hey, I turned those shirts back.
Everybody has one.
That's
Gary, okay, if I put your name on there?
That's all right, that's what we've always said.
Thank you. Maybe some more?
Yeah.
I don't have enough, just, I'll make some.
And then just tell me how many we need.
Two more.
Keeping with the beach safety theme, I have my tie with little sand crabs.
Okay.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. Hope everybody's having a good day. It's a beautiful day out there. We'll be at the beach, you know. Anyway, Tom, this document I've given everybody here on page 1, we just went over your agreement that you handed us last time, and just want to look at every article here. And I don't know if you want to tentatively agree and sign each agreement that we agree on as we go, so we don't have to go back. We all can agree when we agree on articles. If you want to do something like that, I don't know what your procedure is or process, but it might be as we go. So, Article 1, on your agreement that you handed us, we agreed, it was agreed upon the recognition, the wording. Anybody have any comments on that? All right, Article 2, I'll just go ahead and read it, stop me if you have any questions or comments. 2.01 is agreed upon. 2.02 is rejected. We'd like to recognize that employees are responsible for provisions of essential services to the public at large. And that a reduction, alteration, curtailment, or early deprivation of the law enforcement, ocean rescue, or EMS services provided by the union's members would result in irreparable damage to the county and the public at large. However, the union does not accept liability for the actions of individual members without authorization of the union, nor does it agree to be liable for criminal or civil damage as a result of the actions of individual members acting upon union authorization.
Okay. I understand it.
Yeah, are you okay with 2.1? Did you want a TA? Tough as we go, do you agree?
Well, we'll come back and do that. Let's just go through it all and, you're agreeing to ours and.
Article 3 then? That's the severability clause. We agree upon that. Moving right along, Article 4, which is on page 5 of your document. We reject that. The union shall designate, we want to have 6 employees to represent all the bargaining units, of 2 captains, 2 officers, and beach safety specialists. We want a broad representation of what union members from each and every position.
Captains are out of bargaining.
Well, captains.
We'll get to that, it's in the end.
That's at the end. But we want better representation, and we want better, and people have the time off, and they're working, and things are operational, they can't be here. If we have more people, more representatives that you recognize, it'll be easier to get people together. As you know, sometimes it's, you got 3, 6, 8, 9, 10 people here sometimes, and it's hard for you to get people together, us too, so. We'd just like to have more people, more bodies as representatives. I think it'll just work out better for everybody. 402, we would like us to, about loss of pay, come to meetings, bargaining units, all the meetings, to come here on duty.
What do y'all collect dues for?
Pay the bills.
Yeah, isn't that a bill? Isn't that a bill where your union is to pay your folks the time they lose?
Well, no, I mean, all the units I do have, everybody agrees to that we can go to. I mean, I can give you a lot of.
I can give you a lot that don't have them in there, and I give all ours don't have that in there. And a lot of places I worked previously didn't have those in there.
I understand, but that's our position.
Okay.
4.3 is rejected. And we want people able to come to grievances and appeals and things like that, able to attend. You know, that's a learning curve too, for somebody that's new to a unit to, and Tom, you and I probably know better than anybody what's a gripe and a grievance, it's two different things, so people can learn what a grievance actually is and not a gripe, and learn those things, and that's probably on my responsibility to teach them that too, to have some, you know, I'm gonna have some kind of classroom work for these guys to learn how to be a steward, and what's the process, how to do it, all those ins and outs and things like that. But we want them to be able to do on duty if there's a grievance, or attend those things, or if it's internal affairs, or I can't make it, for them to be able to go while they're working. And of course, if it's operationally okay, we're not gonna take people off the beach and not be unprotected or saving people because of, you know, flexible schedule, we can do that, you know, we understand that, I appreciate that. Going to Article 5. We're going to the same page as 6. Bulletin board, we agree upon that. Article 6, next page. That's going to be on the original one we did. We'll come back and talk to this on the original one we gave you. We want to talk about that too. Going to Article 7, page 8. Everything starting with 01 to 04, refer to the merit rules. We're going to reject the usage of the personnel board, and we'd like to get arbitration. 710. Which is page 10, is no temporary probation officer shall be entitled to utilize the grievance arbitration procedure set forth in this collective bargaining unit. We believe that might be some kind of, we have to look into that, about accreditation. Is that a violation of the accreditation that you hold? You have to have equal rights. We reject 711 in its entirety. The next article is this one. Which one?
It's, Article 3 in the original.
Oh, the original. That's the original. We're gonna go back to that after we're done with your proposal.
What's that? What article?
Well, I just don't wanna keep back and forth it.
It's article.
We wanna talk about this one after we talk about your whole proposal. So we don't have to go back and forth. I think people might get confused. That's the non-discrimination not non-discrimination.
Management rights.
Management rights article, and the one proposal we use. Next one is agreed upon, is that Article 9. Dues check off. Article 10, which is hours of work and overtime. We're asking for the 40 hours and overtime after that, 12-hour shifts. And we'll work all 12-hour shifts. All employees will work 12-hour shifts, all members. Article 11, that's a leave of absence article. Refers to the merit rules. And we ask that all leave requests be granted or denied on the basis of seniority. And we do want seniority added to the proposal.
Which one is that?
Article 11.
Leaves of absence. When you ask for a leave of absence, we ask it to be granted or denied on seniority. If you and I thought, I have seniority over you, we want the same date, I should get it.
Well, that's not leave of absence. Leave of absence is usually based on an illness.
Oh, personal leave then.
That's, that's,
In Article 12, we'd like to leave a window open, because we all can agree that as long as we're overdoing it, that we don't think of every day, that we can have 1 or 2 articles we can open every year, or we mutually agreed upon, I think we can agree to that, but we'd like to leave open a couple articles every year. You guys be open to it, because that's what you've done all the time. We have to, I think you can respect that we can't think of everything, especially in the first contract. And Article 13 is just the insurance, referring to merit rules. And Article 14, we reject
what about 13?
for the merit rules.
So you have to leave the current in place.
Yeah, the current that's in place.
This is the current.
Right. Okay.
So you're saying you're okay with Article 13?
13,
That's acceptable?
yes, sir.
Okay. All right, understand that. Okay.
We would really like to get a pay study done and see how that comes in under the Article 14. If you don't have any plans, we can do our own pay study. We're working on it together. I think there's so many pay studies out there now, Land, Garnet City, Ponson,
But they're not beach. Who are you gonna compare to?
well, they're law enforcement,
Maybe.
they're EMS, they all have the same,
No,
do the
they're
same
not.
job.
Okay.
How is it different?
These folks' number 1 job is being lifeguards, and number 2 job is being police. Those folks are just full-time police officers who are out going to domestic disputes and,
They have those on the beach,
but not.
burglaries,
Yeah,
shootings.
but not like you do in the other regular policemen. I
It's
think you
the same
understand.
thing, you just don't have, you're never inside a structure, you're all out there.
I don't know how many of your officers in these other cities are lifeguards, and that's their primary duty. I don't think I know too many of those.
Well,
You know,
I
don't
know
think-
some of them
think
have
it's the
swim
same.
tests, they don't do what these guys do, you're right, these guys have a higher standard.
Their number 1 job is to do that.
Right, save lives.
Is save lives and to be lifeguards.
Right. So they're just saying they have a higher standard than a regular police officer.
And so, but the other is, they're not, so you wouldn't compare them with that.
What don't they do on the beach that they do to save the city of Deland? What do they do different? There's every kind of crime on that beach, sexual assaults, burglaries, domestic violence. Would you agree? Every kind of crime that happens on that beach.
Well, it's kind of like this HR department compared to Holly Hills,
Just bigger.
and the volume and what we deal with.
Well, it's like
And you know what? And those folks can't compare, the director there couldn't be a clerk probably here.
Well, that's not nice.
You know,
Oh, that's
I
not.
hate to say that, but I had one of them one time from there come and apply for our job,
Uh-huh.
and it was so, and I was so embarrassed for them, is because they don't deal with the volume, not because they wasn't a good person who didn't
Yeah.
know, but what they deal with compared to what
Day
we
to
deal
day.
with. And I wanna say, and I don't wanna demean that this way, but the volume sometimes these departments do and what they do is so different comparatively that, yes, they're law enforcement, but you know, being law enforcement,
I did it for 22 years.
there's a difference of doing it full-time on the street, going up and down the neighborhoods, into a bar, and do those type of things, and on the beach,
You deal
so.
with drunk people on the beach? Yes, you do. I'm sure you do on a daily basis. Somebody's impaired somehow. So how is it different? That they're the same. And yes, there are specialized skills that they do have that police officers don't have. So they're a higher standard. And if those guys, cops don't work out like they do. Those guys gotta be in tip-top shape every day of their life. They're gonna be on it. Right?
Yeah,
So I don't know what
their
you're-
number one job is to be lifeguards.
Life savings.
Yeah, you know, lifeguards are number one job, and then
Yeah.
second, overall, yeah. That's what they got hired to be. You know,
And then there's law
then we want them law enforcement. I understand, but I understand.
We agree.
I agree somewhat, agree with you, but, yeah.
What is your main reservation to conducting a pay study? That there's no comparison that can possibly be made? Is that it? Or do you think that we're gonna come out with some astronomical number?
No,
Because-
we don't see a need for one. You already paid more than our deputies, we'll be willing to pay you what we pay our deputies.
Well, our deputies are not EMTs and they're not ocean rescue lifeguards. In addition to being
Well,
law
you just said
enforcement.
compare them with officers, now you're saying don't compare them with officers, so I guess we're all talking the same thing.
Well, we do some comparisons. I think next time we pay
We're not
somebody-
interested right now in doing a pay study, county-wide or individually.
Well, you have to.
You know, we're, number one is, you do a pay study normally when you have a retention problem. We don't seem to have a retention problem. We're not having people massively leave us to go anywhere else at all.
Well, in fairness,
Part
just in
part of
fairness.
the problem with that is that we can't go anywhere else and do the same work. You know, when you work for a police department, you can say, well, I don't really like the way things are going here, I don't like the pay that I get here. I can go to, you know, Tampa, or I can go to Jacksonville, or I can go to Orlando and make more money doing the same job. Well, that's not an option for our guys. For our
Why not?
guys that like to do what we do, which, you know, that's one of the number one things that keeps us where we are, is we like doing what we do, and there's nowhere else that we can go and do what we do. You know, we can go and pack up shop and move south and go make more money being a lifeguard EMT. Just like we can go to any of these other big departments in the state and make more money being just a cop.
Everybody
But
in this room
nobody
could do
here-
that. Everybody in this room could do that. Absolutely. But do I want to go live in South Florida? No. Do I want to go live in Tampa? No. But could I go do that? Yes. And could each one of you? Yes. Could each one of these? Yes. So there's choices of sometimes of where you want to live and what you want, you know, lifestyle you want to live and community you want to
Is
live.
there a
in.
reason why we couldn't incorporate other ocean rescue corps into a pay study? Or other
We're not
EMS
having,
agencies?
we don't see a need, because mainly, a lot of times you do a study is when, if you can't be competitive. And we're competitive right now, we're not losing anybody.
Did we lose somebody last week? Somebody's going to Shores, right? Yeah, there you go.
Okay, we got one.
Well, we
One-
only got
one-
50
one-
total.
I mean, one is not a,
Well, how many would you want to leave?
and you know what, and we can replace them in no time flat.
It takes a long time to
Well,
replace.
you know, but I'm talking about advertising. You can advertise and replace, we'll have no problem getting recruits.
When do you
No
think the
problem.
alarm will go off for you, when people start egressing from
Well, I
there?
guess
Is there a
like
number in your head, that
No.
10%, 20%?
No, it's like every business, when you start seeing that, you deal with
As
that.
the land has, Orange City has, Ponce Inlet has, 2 years ago, in Smyrna Beach.
Well, one reason Deland did it, I talked to Mark, they had a major problem even recruiting, they couldn't get anybody to come even apply for them. Well, we're not having that problem. You know, there's a difference. When you talk to these folks, you find out one reason they're doing it, and they're not the reasons why you're suggesting. They just couldn't get anybody to apply for their jobs. They had people leaving and nobody would apply. Well, we don't seem to have that problem. So that, I mean, so when you want to compare, it's not an equal comparison, but I'll take it back and
That's what we're
present
asking you
it.
to
I'll
do.
take it back to the,
Maybe we'll give you a little study next time, just to look at, just to munch on, and just.
whatever you would like to give us, we'll be glad to look at it. We'll be glad to look at it, and we'll consider that. We really will. But right now, I'm just being honest with you, that's when you normally do those, is we're not really having that problem. I've worked where we've had that problem before, when we couldn't get people to come to work. I remember in the 90s, nobody could get police officers anywhere. You did all kind of things to get police officers.
Sign on bonuses.
Yeah, that's right, we did it all. We did it all, because you couldn't get
I was top
them.
in the 90s,
Yeah, so you knew you couldn't get anybody. And so you go through those. I've also been through with other positions. One time I was engineer short. 2000, the WAC 2K, you couldn't get IT people.
Now you can't get rid of them.
Yeah,
They're all over the place.
that's right. Well, they're still hard to get.
Must be IT.
Well, they're still hard to
Well, let's
get.
move on, and we appreciate your position, but we're a little, we have a little mindset different than yours. So, Article 15,
Okay.
miscellaneous terms.
Okay.
Do you want to speak to that?
The training hours?
Say that?
Yeah, I mean, if we relegate the employees to doing
Training hours.
1502,
Yeah, we just want something in there that will give these guys some time to do the training. If you're gonna maintain their physical fitness, perform their duties.
I mean, Ray, nobody's gonna be able to do it. If it's, everybody has relegated to doing training during drill, it's just not enough, it's not possible for hardly anyone to get it done. We can spare a couple people who do it already, but
We're just asking for their time to do that. If you're asking for a standard, it's a pretty high standard. They need that, they need to be in that kind of shape. Let's give them the time to do it. On duty.
No, that's your position. So that's what y'all want, 1502?
Yeah, well, what do you think? Tom?
Well, when we hired people, we didn't put them through a class that said you need to be in shape to come to work. When they hired me for the knowledge, and guess what? It's up to me to keep my knowledge, maintain my knowledge,
Right.
and so
But when you
it's
hire
as individuals there, as if they're in a profession, they know when they get this profession what it is.
are you saying the county doesn't provide you with opportunities to improve your knowledge?
Well, if I
Don't
want
you go to training seminars, training classes, the county provides all that for
Well,
you?
some of
Belongs to
that stuff,
association.
I got certifications and
You
things.
got
Some of
to
that I
be
do.
certified?
And I do, you know what, I did all the studying and all that on my time. I did all that then. They didn't pay for me to go do my studying and all that on my time.
You go to
On their
association
time.
meetings, Tom?
Hmm?
You go to like association meeting, HR directors and
No.
training?
No.
You don't go to any
I
training?
hardly ever go, I think I've been.
Because you've been through it all.
Huh?
You've been through it all.
I don't go to very few, I go to very few.
Yeah.
I go to, maybe every year to Mr. Mandel's. But that's about it.
Gee, can I go around?
Yeah, you probably can. I go to his, but other than that, I go to Fisher and Phillips, because,
Yeah, what's his cleaning test? Just say no.
but other than that, I don't really go, I don't go to any training and as a whole. But, we expect, folks to, it's up to them to maintain that. And I see a lot of folks at the gym, I don't belong to it now, but when I belonged to the gym right down the street, I used to see deputies in there all the time, after hours. Deputies, after hours. After hours.
You've
And
seen the
other
deputy's
police
physical
officers.
training requirements?
Hmm?
I mean, everybody could do it. Everybody can do it.
They're in there maintaining their fitness.
Not everybody.
Well, but of course, not everybody does everything, we know that, but there's people out there doing that.
It's true. Well, that's their own person.
And I see Mr. Sanders, I hadn't seen him recently.
you just weren't there at the right time.
Yeah, that's right, he's down there, and I also see him
Good
jogging,
answer.
and I see him jogging.
Five days ago.
Yeah, I see him jogging out a lot, and it's not during work hours. It's not during work hours.
Okay. Well, you know what we want then.
Okay.
Is it, this paragraph below that, Gary, is that which you want included in 1502?
Yeah, we need, yes. Also acknowledging that maintaining the ability to complete swim requirements twice daily is pivotal to providing the best service possible to residents and visitors. The county shall agree to pay for full memberships at coastal Volusia YMCA facilities for the purpose of maintaining the appropriate level of fitness. Employees must utilize this benefit monthly to retain. Just don't pay for everybody, make sure they go.
And the county used to provide that benefit to us.
Okay, got your proposal.
And the last one of your proposal, that you handed us last time, Article 16, is defer just to the merit rules, layoff or reduction in force.
What's in your others you got here?
Yeah, this would be from our document.
Okay.
So we're kind of like working with two documents here, we'll probably pare it down to one after we come back with, your counter proposals. We'll probably be working with one document. We want to keep non-discrimination in the proposal.
Can you go, if it's not too much to ask, could you go by either your article or page number?
Yeah, page 3, Article 2 is non-discrimination. We didn't see it in your document, we'd like to keep it in there if we could.
The county has a non-discrimination policy.
We'd like to keep it in the bargaining unit.
What's it do?
Do you have it handy?
What's that? The merit rule one? Yes. No, I don't have it, I don't have the merit rules here with me, but it's in the, we have a non-discrimination.
Would be a problem putting it in the agreement?
I don't know why we need to put it there, why we just create more paper. I mean, we just reference the merit rules.
Well, tell me how the process works when you change your merit rule. How does that work? You don't have to negotiate it with us.
They only go, they probably only been, the revisions are going now for the first time probably in 20 years. There probably won't be another 20 years.
When you say 20 years, are you talking about the charter?
No, it hadn't probably been changed in 20 years.
the charter you can't change.
Well, you're seating somebody now, or a board to look at the charter, right?
No, that was last year.
That was last year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
charter reviews every 10 years.
It's every 10, okay. So what is?
Non-discrimination is pretty easy rule, easy.
What is,
either way,
but what is the process when you change your merit rule? What, just educate.
Well, we take it to the Board of County Council.
Is there 2
We
readings?
we also take it to the Personnel Board. Take it to the Personnel Board and we take it.
And
to
who
the-
recognizes there might have to be a change in the merit rule? Is that you, your organization, your division, your
The
department?
management, you know,
So
over
they need
time,
change.
they decide to take a look at it and say, let's take a look and.
So it's
maybe we need to
arbitrary
update it.
that you could just say, we're gonna all sit down, we're gonna have a meeting about merit rules. It's been 20 years, we need to look at them, and there's no bargaining or anything like that over merit rules, so you can just change it. If you keep it in here, you'd have to come to us and talk about it, correct?
Mhm.
So that's what we would like. Just to talk about it, have a conversation, not saying, we might agree what you wanna do. We'd like to have a conversation about it and, agree to it.
Okay.
That's why we have a contract, right?
You have to talk about that. It's got the charter.
Yeah, we got the charter.
We're not gonna delegate that authority to negotiation for those changes there. Those are extra.
There's ordinance.
The ordinance is there, so we're not necessarily gonna be bargaining, those rules,
What rules are you talking about?
Well, I just, right now, we.
The merit rules?
No.
You're talking charter. It's 2 different things.
All right.
I know that, do you know that? Yes, I do, sir. Okay. At City of Edgewater, we look at the charter every 5 years. It's a fluid instrument. We looked at it, had some changes.
Okay, so I got that proposal. What's your next one?
Article 5,
Okay.
personnel records. We want to take this article and incorporate it into it.
Well, that's on state law. Other than you want, I guess
Well,
you're.
that's a good solid thing to put in the contract.
No, state law changes, you gotta go with state law. Other than
Well,
you
we
got
can do
some, I
something
guess
in
you
there.
got some stuff in here, I guess what do you really want? Because some of it is, looking at a personnel record is,
Well, I know one of the things you've been very resistant of, and listened to you for the last couple of years, is like, if I come in, I wanna look at Tom Moses, nobody's gonna tell you about it. Right. Well, you're the boss, I'll probably tell you. But if I wanna come to Ray Manchester's personnel file, we believe that the employee should have a right that some guy's coming off the street and looking at his personnel file.
well, that's a public record, and if the state of Florida thought that, they would put that in the statute. They would put that in there, because
So we wanna
otherwise,
go above that standard.
well, that may be
And I
looked
think-
at, that may be
I'm
looked at
just,
as.
I know, I like Ray, because that's why I always bring up Ray on the side of the table. But I'm just saying, if somebody wants to come and look at Ray's personnel file, maybe he should know. He should have the right. Yeah, it's a personal record, you can't stop somebody. You can't even ask the person's identification,
Well,
can
won't
you?
you go ask the property appraiser, when somebody comes, looks up your address, they notify you.
They can't look at our address.
I'm protected.
Well, they can look at, well, if they know the parcel number, they can, but if they wanna go over there and look up some information, they can't, because it's a public record. They can look at your personnel record, they won't see your address in that record. But, you know, they won't see that, but it's a public record, and I worked elsewhere where the attorney said, by going into the employees, it could have a chilling effect. What you're trying to do is circumvent the law, so you want the employee then to confront those people who are looking at your record to thwart them from looking at the record, and therefore it can maybe have a chilling effect. And also I saw where employees almost got terminated by confronting employees who looked at their record. So we decided, that location decided to no longer notify employees, for the very reason it was causing more problems than it was solving. And so, but it's a public record. Plus, trying to keep up with that, does the union wanna hire somebody? They wanna hire somebody to sit in our office, and every time somebody comes in and asks to look at one, then they can call one of your folks, but otherwise, we're pretty busy. And then to miss that would be a violation of the labor agreement.
When you say you're busy, if I was somebody come off the street and I wanted to look at Joe's, I wanna look at his personal record. You know what, because he claimed he went to this law school. I wanna look, I'm just one of those gadflies at the meetings. And this lady at the desk, right, over here, I would ask.
You'd ask her, but you'd have to get to the lady who actually does it.
Right. I've talked to her.
And then she'd
It
have to.
doesn't seem like they're that busy, like it's on the line out the door.
Well, they're doing other stuff. They're
Oh, I understand.
doing employment verifications. They're doing those that come across the internet. And they're then having to go and pull all that stuff out electronically
Redacted.
and all that. So it's, just because you don't think they're busy, they're pretty darn busy. Trust me, and they got other duties besides those two in here. But that's the primary, is to number one, is to make sure the public records are done. Secondly, they got a whole lot of other work to do. So it's just
What
very
about-
hard to do.
What would your position on being on, once there's some discipline action, doing a null and void file on somebody, so?
We don't think those,
It's-
you should,
it's done.
you did as part of your record. And then-
Can't erase it.
You can't erase it, it's there. So,
Be there for 50 years under retention.
that's right, so we're just thinking if it's there, whatever value it's worth, it's worth. The farther you get away from that and have no other issues, the less value that becomes. You know that, and I know that. I tell managers a lot of times, they look at somebody's records, got something years ago, it's like, we're not considering that.
What about the rest of the article? I know those are the two reservations you had earlier. Is there anything else in that article? I know you say it's straightforward, but is there anything else in there that you might have issue with, other than 3B or 5? So we could have some kind of,
Well,
Or
yeah,
you just want to come back?
number one is we don't think we need, because you got the right to look at that by law. Number one. Number two, employees,
And can a county employee come in now and request to look at his personal?
Oh, yeah, sure.
There's mistakes made every day. Stuff's, you know.
Yeah, they wanna come look at it, we let them look at it. They don't have a problem with that. If their file, they wanna look at
And they
it.
can make copies as much as they want of stuff in their file.
You know, they wanna get a copy out of it, they can get a copy out of it.
Okay. And I can assume.
And the merit rules allow people to do number 2
Right.
already, so I don't think we need,
Attach.
I don't think we need that, because it allows it to do that. We want people to be able to do that if they wanna put something in a file. We, let them know that and encourage them. You got a right to make a response, and we'll put it in your file. We don't have a problem, you know, with that, so it's already there. So all we're doing is recreating stuff. It's all right. All right, so what's your next one?
Promotions.
Okay.
That's Article 7, page 9, I'm sorry.
What was
On page 9.
Yeah, page 9. Article.
Okay. The county's never gonna give up its ability to fill or not vacancy or not fill a vacancy until they gotta fill it within so many days. That's managing our business, and, you know, the state gives us that right to determine, you know, the size of our workforce, the number of our workforce. We're not gonna relinquish that, because there could be multiple reasons why that happens or doesn't
Yeah,
happen.
you're trying to save money. That's the one reason.
That could be a reason, that could be a valid reason.
Yeah, that-
You know, it could be, and the other reasons that, you know, I just don't know at the time what they would be, but we don't wanna lock ourselves in to say,
Well, would you maybe say that you could give us some kind of reason why? And build some language in there that, for specific reasons why, you know, this can't, not that we wouldn't say no, but it'd be nice to, no, we're not doing it right this time. When guys are waiting for promotion and to move up, and, you know, that helps morale, that helps you get a little extra money, career people, so that we, you know, just to.
so what's been the problem? Now, what are we trying to fix?
Well, we're trying to stop the problem from happening. And
And
seeing this in the
one.
future.
No, this is creating one. Normally, when you make a change for something where there hadn't been a problem, then it starts being a problem.
Well, let's say there's eligible, let's just give me a hypothetical, and they say, okay, somebody left, Ray left. He's Ray again. Ray left, this